Okay. And Catherine, if you would make Patricia a co-host in case there's anything she wants to share. And welcome, Patricia. I'm really glad that you are here to celebrate my book launch. And
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing what we can learn together. So take it from here whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. I do have some slides. I'm a visual person, and I imagine there might be some others in the room today. So I do my best when I'm visually sharing things. So it looks like I've got it. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with you, and honestly, a little bit nervous as well. I was thinking right before the meeting right before I jumped on, who needs to do like anything like skydiving anymore? All I need to do is show up and present, and I get enough adrenaline to last me for a while. So just please be patient with me as I probably stumble over a few things, but I'm really excited. And yeah, and we're here to support the launch of Jim Manski's new book, Pathways to Nonviolent Communication in CNVC. I'm really, oh, there it is. Don V has the book, he's showing it right now. And today I'm going to explore discernment, or as I'm calling it, the art of making life-serving choices. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Hang on one second. All right, you should be able to see that. And for some reason, I'm not seeing my notes. Hang on one second.
We were able to see it, just to let you know, while you had it up.
Yes, I just can't see my notes, and
Right.
I definitely need those, so I didn't have it showing correctly. I will restart it. 1 second. Thank you for your patience. There's always got to be about 3 big mistakes in a presentation. Here's to number 1. And I'm still not seeing my notes. Okay. Well, there we go. Okay, let's try this. Okay, there we go. Okay, can you see it?
Right now it's dark. Oh, there we go.
Got it? Okay, great.
Yes.
All right, so thanks again for your patience. What I'm going to go over in this hour is what is discernment, and then I'm going to weave in my own experience with how to discern, and we'll wrap it up. It's a very inexact art, but I'll spend a third of the presentation on that. We'll go into practicing in breakout rooms, which will be the second third of the meeting, and then we'll come back out. People will be sharing, and we'll cross-pollinate our knowledge and things that came up in the breakout rooms, and we'll spend the last third doing that.
I have a quick question about how many people will be in the breakout room so I can be putting that together.
Oh, Jory, thank you. Yes, 3 in a room.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, Jory, I've pretty much done that. There's one group with one room with 2 people.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Okay, thank you. All right. So what is discernment? I took Jim's definition of it, and it is clarity, insight, and wisdom in making life-serving distinctions and choices. And who wouldn't want that? Clarity, insight, wisdom, everybody. I mean, I can't imagine who wouldn't want that. So I put this in my own words because as I was reading it, I was like, what does this actually mean to me? And to me, it means when I'm making a decision of some sort, or I'm thinking about something, how should I think about this? What would be skillful for me to insert into my thinking? And what do I do about it? What the heck do I do about this? Whatever the choices I'm needing to make. And how do I act in the best interest of all the people involved? And that last sentence is something that practicing nonviolent communication is teaching me. What are my needs as well as others' needs? And how do I take that into account when I'm making these decisions? Okay. Jim and the other writers of this book have a framework to help us determine our skill level in terms of the skill of discernment. The first level is unskilled. If we're yet unskilled at discernment, and I emphasize yet because we can definitely improve, we will still base our opinions and choices on judgments of right and wrong. And we believe these judgments to be fact. In the next stage, we become aware that this isn't the only way we can make a choice. There are, another option is basing choices on whether they're serving universal needs. And the label for that is awakening. In the next stage, we become aware that, in the third stage, we start to look at a broader perspective, which includes many things, such as our intentions, any deeper meanings for the people involved, potential biases, things like that. And then finally, we get to this integrated skill level where we bring in our own clarity, our own insight and wisdom from our own life experiences. We start to integrate that together, and some of it becomes intuitive. I know this is very conceptual to hear right now, so I'm going to walk through each one of these using a choice that I'm making in my own life, and I think this will clarify the skill levels. So let's get started on that. The choice that I'm currently making in my life that I'll discuss today is whether or not to keep going to a particular support group about which I've been feeling less than enthusiastic. And this harkens me back to something that I heard Marshall say in one of his videos, that if we're not experiencing joy in doing something, well, he was very blunt about it. He said, just don't do it. And at the very least, it's something that I should be looking at. Like, why am I not in joy when I go to this particular support group? Why is it not feeding me or meeting my needs? And so my first instinct was unskilled. Fortunately, unfortunately. And that's okay. I was definitely in a lot of judgment about this particular group. But what I'm learning in NVC is to not try to get rid of the judgment, but to be curious about it and use it for all the valuable information that it is giving me, because it is giving me a lot of valuable information. So what is my judgment? Is something right or wrong in my mind about this? And what is it telling me that I want, that I value, or that I need? So I wrote out all the internal dialogue, of which this following is an excerpt, and you can kind of, there's a lot in there. And so I would say, at getting started, write out what you're feeling, just in the jackal terms or whatever terms you want, just write it out. Then I went back and I took another look at that, and I said, okay, it's going to tell me, this is the key to telling me what my needs are. So I bolded, or I focused on some terms that were clues to what I was feeling and wanting. I was thinking, oh, this is a waste of my time. So-and-so is way too proper for me. I don't trust them. I don't feel safe. It's not fun. And those gave me clues that led me to becoming aware of this other way to make the distinctions. And this is the awakening skill level. Becoming of another way to make distinctions and choices based on serving universal needs rather than on good, bad, right, or wrong. So in other words, is there a way to meet my own needs and those of others that I haven't thought about yet? Does it really necessitate me leaving this group, this support group that I've been in for many years, or is there something else I can do? And there's only one way to find out. And that is to start assessing my feelings and needs. So I wrote out my own feelings and needs. And I also took a guess as to what feelings and needs they might feel should I make a decision to tell them I'd like to leave. You can do this part on them a few different ways if you'd like. You could do it, what general feelings and what general needs are they getting by choosing the default, whatever that is in your case. In my case, it was, what are they feeling or needing by attending the group? But I felt like the more, the juicier part for me, because I was pretty sure that something about attendance had to change for me. I recognized that I was really afraid to tell them this, that my needs weren't getting met and that I was thinking of leaving. So instead, I guessed what their feelings and needs may be around me telling them. And you can play with this. This isn't set in stone. This is just my interpretation, the way I did it. There's no right or wrong. There's no one right way to do this. And then also part of the awakening that I'd like to just say one thing about is that, it's so easy to assign responsibility for my feelings to them. And in NVC, we're learning, or I'm learning, that I am the person responsible for my feelings. And in fact, it's not that I am responsible, but my needs are responsible for my feelings. Those feelings come up because a need is or is not being stimulated in some way. If I can think of other strategies to meet those needs, then my feeling will likely change. So it's just something to start to practice and be aware of, and it's in this awakening skill level. Then we get to a capable skill level, and this has where we go a little bit deeper into ourselves to understand what is our intention for the potential choice that we're making. What is our purpose or goal in wanting to make the choice at all? or wanting to choose in a certain way. For me, I had to spend some time in quiet, and here's what I ended up writing as my goals or intentions. And I ended up finding something I didn't really want to see. You can see right there that I noticed a slight desire that I wanted to hurt them a little, because I felt hurt by some of the things they had said to me. I did not want to see that. But this is so important to be aware of and to not judge, because only when I fully see what is going on inside of me can I heal through self-empathy or other means, and then make truly life-serving choices. So this was very, very valuable for me to look into my intentions. And then another piece of capability, or having a capable skill level, is this broad perspective where we're uncovering inner biases. It could be based on many different things, you know, race, gender, physical abilities of people, politics, locations, citizen status, cultural norms, you name it. Anything different than me, I have a tendency to judge, unfortunately. Also, if we've experienced events in our lives which have left imprints or scars, also known as trauma, we are likely to have biases that are born out of the necessity to keep ourselves safe. So when we do the work to understand these imprints and learn how to work around them, we can make choices that aren't driven by the imprint itself, sorry. Okay, and then finally, we get to this integrated level where we are listening to our own deepest experiences, and we've all had different deep experiences. I've had to really listen to a couple of life-changing events in my own life, and those things have taught me certain things. And I know that each person, each one of you, has your own clarity, your own insight and wisdom. And my journey in NVC, just to bring it back to an example, is that my journey in NVC has been a deep experience for me. And it's shown me that forcing myself to do something, if I do that, then the negative energy is not going to serve me nor the people I'm with. So if I'm going to this support group and I'm just completely not wanting to be there, they're going to feel it, and I'm going to feel it, and it's not the best for me to do anything in that energy level or that energy. So I talked through this choice with many empathy partners and a couple of trusted friends, and I've sat with it for months. This isn't like a recent thing. It's been kind of brewing for, I'd say, like actually over a year. And the resentment wasn't going away. So I'm aware that some needs aren't being met by going to it. And the deep experience that I have with NVC is what I'm bringing to the table to let me know that something has to change. I've lived trying to force myself to do things that don't really fit for me, and it's never worked out for me. So that's this last stage of discernment, bringing some deep wisdom from inside to the experience and letting that shape your choice. And before questions and before we practice, I just want to say that this is not an exact art. It's not science. It is an art, and it's a messy one. You know, I went back and forth. I feel bad for my empathy buddies or for the people I chewed their ear off about this choice. But in the end, I feel like I'm getting there. And I did actually bring it up to the group, and we're making the decision together. And I will know tomorrow what they will say about that. So that was me walking through this, all 4 stages of this. Okay, and I think we are at the point where, does anyone have any questions? Okay, all right, well, I'm going to assume we're ready to practice, and I will share my screen one more time, and then I will put these, actually, before I share my screen, I'm going to put the instructions in the chat so that you can have them when you go into the breakout rooms.
And Pamela, how long would you like them to have in the breakout room?
Oh, yes. Could you put them in for 20 minutes, please?
20 minutes, okay. And then total, so maybe 18 minutes and a 2-minute warning till the close. Okay.
Perfect. Yes. Okay. So.
And most everybody is in a room of 3. There's one group with a room of 2, but if you prefer, I could make rooms of 4 if you think the exercise would be better than in rooms of 2.
No, I think a room of 2 would be great, because I think this is going to take a little bit longer. I think it could take a little bit longer.
Okay, great.
So for the first 5 minutes, when you get into the breakout room, think of an unresolved decision that's on your mind. And just kind of like I did in that matrix that I had, or that looked like columns and rows, think of, write down as many feelings as you have about it. Just let it flow out. Just let your feelings flow out about this decision that's on your mind. And then for each of your feelings, ask yourself what needs it points to. So you can either write full sentences about your feelings, or if you want to just put in feeling words. But for each feeling, try and come up with a need that it's pointing to. And then that may take you the full 5 minutes, and that's totally fine if that takes the full 5 minutes. If you have extra time, or you're an advanced practitioner and you run through it really quick, go ahead and write down feelings and needs of others involved. And then for the next, so that'll be the first 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then
So you did go?
is somebody asking?
Okay.
Were you up for a visit today?
I'll look to see
This
who
is
needs
an
to be
absolute
muted.
mess, but you're very welcome. I actually
Okay.
thought it wouldn't work today.
Oh. Patricia, you're muted. I'll
Got it. Okay, so for the first 5 minutes, you're going to be writing just feelings and needs of yourself, and if you have time, of the other persons involved. And then you spend the next 15 going around in a circle, and each person will get 5 minutes to discuss. To enhance the safety, I would, in the breakout rooms, please don't comment on the other person's share unless they specifically invite comments or empathy guesses or anything like that. Yeah, so it's just kind of sharing what came up for you, sharing what you learned for 5 minutes each. Are there any questions before we break out into the rooms? All right, that we're ready to go, Catherine, if you can send us.
Great. I will open the rooms, and if for some reason you end up alone, I will be cruising, because it's possible someone will not accept their invitation, but I will try to match you up. And here you go. And if you've selected to not be in breakout, you'll still be invited to a room with no breakout people. And you can either go to that room or you're also okay to stay here if you prefer.
My partner didn't want to be in the breakout room. So that
Okay.
was Paul Langford does not want to be in. So
Okay, thank you, Holly. I will find you on here and see where you can go.
Yeah, I had a person in my breakout room who didn't answer. Can't remember who that was. I forgot.
Okay, let me do Holly first. Let's see. Find you. There you are, Holly. Now I see two others in your breakout room that you're
oh, well, at the time
27.
it was just Paul. I didn't see anyone else. But
Okay, go ahead and accept the offer again.
okay.
And who else needs?
And
I'm not I'm not going anywhere. I'm
Oh.
still here.
Did you pull up breakout rooms and let me see if I
Oh.
can. It should have an invitation there for you. It's interesting. It's not showing me room 27 to put you into.
Oh, here, join the breakout room.
okay.
Hello.
Yes.
I didn't get an invitation.
Okay. Let me find you and I will. Oh, yep.
If you can match me with someone from Egypt, it would be very, very nice.
Yeah, there's some a group of two that would be nice to have you join.
Okay.
Egypt for her.
Yeah, Egypt.
She'd like Egypt.
Yes.
And there were two people in my group, and one was Amanda, who's on our screen now. Did you leave, Amanda? Oh, she didn't want a breakout. That's why she left. Okay, so yeah.
Neither of the people in that breakout room want to be there. They're unavailable.
Okay. Okay.
And room 27 is a no-go.
Okay, so I will move them to I'll leave them there if they're both there. And then it looks like and I will put you in room.
You could put me with Anne and anyone else.
Okay.
Hey, Catherine, I kicked myself out and then I rejoined and you had already put people into rooms. So I'm happy to go into a room wherever. It's Renee.
Okay, Renee.
Or I'm even happy to stay here. The last hour, some of us were not with anyone and we just ended up talking doing a group thing.
So maybe we can figure out the tech stuff on the chat, and then Patricia, you're welcome to, if you want to entertain questions or have discussion on the exercise or whatever with people.
Sure. I would just say that anyone who's here in the group and would like to just take 5 minutes right now and start thinking of an unresolved decision that's on your mind and just start that writing process. Feelings and needs.
And then please tell me one more time if you're in this room but would prefer a smaller group.
Renee.
Renee. Anyone else? Okay.
Could I ask something?
Sure.
Yeah, Patricia, I'm thinking of something like, you know, I've just woken up, so I've had NBC in the background in my dreams all night. Just sort of woken up here in Australia, and I'm just, you know, blown away by what I've seen so far. It's just a wonderful way to wake up, and I'm thinking, wow, you know, could this be used in potentially any decision? Is this what you're sort of saying?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Any
Yeah.
decision, small or large.
So, like what I'm thinking of, whether I maintain a friendship with someone who's
Yes.
been problematic, and obviously there's a lot of self-responsibility there. So it's the same sort of formula, and you take your time and you,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the idea would be to get to a place of I've tried communicating. It's like that it's just not on the right level, and it's just like going through all those stages sort of thing, because I feel very guilty sometimes about creating boundaries that may be, I don't know, safe for me. Like it's all that sort of other way we've made decisions before that get really sort of muddied in there. Yeah. I guess that's why you
Yeah.
have to do the feelings and needs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Having a different paradigm of, the world says, just put a boundary around them, get rid of them, let them go, don't talk to them, don't, and part of me would really like to have the courage to say, hey, listen, this is exactly what's not working. And, and it's, yeah, I don't know, like taking full responsibility for my own feelings and needs, but being able to deliver a message that is clearly, this is my feelings and needs, even if they don't have the capacity to be able to, and they don't want to take any responsibility in their stuff. I don't know whether that gets too messy or.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's kind of floating around, like, and this is just, what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of pieces here. And so
Yes.
when I take it through that sort of step-by-step process, what happens, and here's where it's a messy art. Like, it took me a long time of stewing in the mess before I was willing to write down my feelings and my needs. I wasn't willing at first. And finally I'm like, do NVC on this. What, I definitely was at that what was the first stage? The first stage was unskilled, right? Opinions and judgments, right and wrong. Like, I was in it for a while. And then I finally said, no, I'm going to take this choice through NVC and see what happens. It's going to be an experiment, Patricia. And so that's what I did. I started with feelings and needs, and stuff started to clear up. Like, as soon as I put one foot on that path of writing down and getting really clear about what needs were being met and what needs weren't being met, then I could start to have some clarity. And then like I said, I investigated a few other things. Was I, irrespective of what they're doing, was I taking responsibility for my feelings? So I kept the focus here. Was I taking responsibility for my feelings? What else am I biased in some way? And is that coloring the glasses through which I'm looking at this decision? So I had to check that out and say, yeah, I am a little biased, and in this way. And when I have the clarity of seeing my needs, my biases, what are my intentions, then I can say, oh, now I've got the full view. I've got that full view of all that's kind of playing up here that looked like spaghetti. But now it's kind of clear, and okay, this, and the choice I made was, I'm going to not make the decision myself. I'm going to involve the group, and it's going to be a group decision. And that was inspired by an article I read from Mickey Kashtan about not abandoning an agreement unilaterally. So I got inspired by that, and I said, this really talks to my heart. I'm feeling like I want to try this out. This is my particular solution. It's not everybody's. Like, and that's where the art comes in. Like, you're going to know, maybe from your life, you had to go through something really hairy and it taught you some lesson that most of the rest of us don't have. And you incorporate that lesson into your decision process.
Yeah, yeah. And also what you were saying is that you will express what's going on for you. So those people will be aware of how you're feeling, which is an honest expressing honestly. And then you will let the group know and then see what comes of that. So yes, I think that is the most courageous thing to do, because if you're making a decision of that will affect other people, potentially, they might really miss you, or they might be relieved, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, so beautiful. I just think it's just giving me just a new insight. I don't really feel like I've got the capacity right now to write about it, but that's the hard work that I might be inclined to avoid. So I need to have a go at it at some stage. Yeah. Yeah. And you're also very much taking account in what your original intention was, because I'm guessing you joined that group for a particular purpose and it was important to you at one stage, or still potentially could be. And so you're really including their needs as well, what their needs might be, which is beautiful. It's not just, I don't feel like it anymore, like that fickle thing that a lot of us do. It's like, it's too hard. I can't make the effort. I can't work out how to express honestly without pissing people off. So I'll just duck out,
No, I've been in this group for 17 years. So it's this is a big decision.
Yeah.
And I noticed some others had their hand up for questions. Anne, did you have a question?
No, it's not exactly a question. I've been doing, I've been on these calls for about 8 hours now, maybe 7 hours, plus doing a compassion course thing for an hour and a half before that. So I realized that I can't even come up with any unmet decisions or unresolved. I'm just at the point where I'm so happy to be here. I would have been happy to go with Holly to a breakout, but then I realized I'm just not able to do a lot of expressing. So I guess my need right now is to just say that I'm, well, I don't know.
Well, I have something that I want to talk about on what Maida, is that your name? And so, Anne, if you don't really have anything you wanted to say, or were you still talking, or did I interrupt you?
I just guess I wanted a little bit of empathy and just everyone to kind of say, oh, boy, I don't know, even just not in your heads like some of you are doing now. And then I can let go. But
hey, Anne, you're allowed to have a break. Lie down and just soak up the sounds.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I really relate. Yesterday I was getting more and more overloaded, and I thought, I just can't miss this. It's so good. And my poor old body's going, oh, please, we want to go to sleep.
Yeah. You're in that world.
I kept waking up, and there was the sound of the end, whoever was on whenever I woke up at 2:30 in the morning and 4:30, and then I wake up at 6:30, and I've just landed myself in this class, and I'm just thinking, wow, thank you, universe. This is just what I needed. This is fantastic.
Maida, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second, because I felt I'm feeling, Holly, would you wanted to respond? Would that be okay?
Let Holly go.
Yeah, I feel really stimulated right now because of what it started with what Maida said, and I'm in a relationship. I have a very important decision to make. I want to end it. It's a 16-year relationship, and when you're with a person who isn't at this level of wanting to put the work into learning NVC, I mean, it's one thing for you to be in an NVC group, to invite the group to help make a group decision, but it's another thing to invite someone else to help make this decision when they come back and they cannot hear what you're saying. They make judgments of what you're saying. They tell you you should think differently. They tell you you should do differently. And it is so unaffirming of where I'm at and how I'm changing that I do not want to include this person in any decision that I'm going to make. I mean, this is becoming non-negotiable. It's at a non-negotiable state of these are my needs. These are the kind of people I need to be around certain sorts of people who can support me, who can even listen to me, not just interrupt me right in the middle of what I'm saying something here. And so that, you know, I guess it's striking a chord in me because I can see how I would love to include him in maybe part of the decision making. And maybe I'll try to make some discernment as to if there is anything that we can have that's worth preserving. But the relationship is not. I cannot do what's been happening. And he's unwilling and not capable. I think it's more of a incapability. So this takes some discernment to determine whether a person is simply unwilling or whether they're really not capable. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it sounds like you would really love some clarity. If I'm not misunderstanding you, you'd love some clarity and maybe shared reality with this person, like to be on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this person realized how much his background and trauma, he has no recognition of, I mean, I don't think he recognizes how much his background colors the lens by which he looks out through the world. And if you don't recognize that or don't have, you haven't, it is quite difficult. And I don't know that it's my place to try to convince somebody of that. It's like
Well, I would just totally support you in, taking it through some of the steps that I outlined in terms of, writing out your feelings and your needs and then, into intentions, just to go through and really take your time with the decision, and do some of the work, do some of that inner work for yourself.
Right.
When you finally make the decision, you'll know it's been made from a you didn't just make it based on a feeling that happened, that you made it from a strong and careful and conscientious place.
Right. Yeah. I've kind of been through this even before hearing you. I'm just kind of going back and revisiting, but I pretty much have made the decision that it's over with. I mean, because we've been struggling for years with this. So it's just kind of.
Yeah. I put in the chat, I put down the link to Mickey Kashtan's article that I was talking about. That might be.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It looks like people are starting to come back. Welcome back. All right. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people come back. Great. All right. Hopefully nobody got swept under a big wave while they were in the breakout room and made it through. So I'm just wanting to open the floor and take some comments or questions about, what happened. Was there something that touched your heart in the breakout room? Did you feel joy about something? Are you confused? Did your perspective change? What happened? Let's hear from a few people. Did you stumble across some complex issue, or did you feel uneasy with something? I've got one hand raised. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Hey, my name is Nancy.
No, thank you. Yeah, what happened for you?
Okay, I listened very well to my two companions, and the insight someone gave at the end was a great inspiration for me. And he did the steps of sharing the situation and then his feelings and the needs, and then he came with an insight that I benefit from very much.
Mm.
It was my
So just being in that breakout room, it gave you something new, just hearing from another person.
yes, and I
Yeah.
benefited from his experience very much.
Ooh, yum. That's great. Well, thank you for sharing that. It just underscores how interdependent we are and that we kind of can't do this by ourselves.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Kevin?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, at first I was really overwhelmed by the process. I started writing, and I realized in my writing that I didn't realize this, but I wanted all of my needs to be met by one particular other person in my life, and that was very overwhelming. I got a lot of support from the people in my group for. Somebody said, "Oh, did you think you needed to have just one or two needs?" Oh, like I get to have all of these needs. But this also gives me some clarity because I'm trying to figure out if this relationship really is working for me. That if I'm putting that much pressure on it, I'm breaking it, so it just gave me some clarity on not like a decision that I need to make, but just how much weight I put on this relationship that maybe if I let the weight off, it's really beautiful in a lot of ways. And maybe that's a decision is like just be here. So yeah, it was really helpful to go from that overwhelm to actually sharing and then feeling some support. So thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Sarah Joy?
I really felt compassion in the group, even though no one was really jumping in with any kind of reflections, we all kind of wanted to hear maybe some suggestions of feelings and needs in the end. And I really felt connection and compassion, which was really helpful in my consideration of the needs. I was very touched by that.
Connection and compassion. Those are beautiful needs. Nicole, you had your hand up at one point. Did you still have a question or a comment?
Thank you. No, new thought came to me, so it didn't seem worth sharing. I'll just say briefly that I struggle to connect to the feelings of this unresolved decision, I guess because it's a really long-standing decision that I have some fatigue around. I came up with a few half thought, half feelings, and they kind of gave me some clues as to needs. But yes, that was it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, kind of what I'm hearing is just this was the messy part. It's not clear sometimes. And sometimes I need, like I told you, I've been sitting on this decision for over a year. It's not an easy one. And sometimes I have to wait until new information arrives, or I feel different, or I get out of my funk, or whatever it is. It's sometimes the decision has to come to me instead of me making it happen. So there's just sometimes some of waiting for life's magic to happen to make things a little bit clearer. Yeah. What else came up for people? Maybe just two more people could share out. And oh, Don.
Hello, I had difficulty, the current situation, I had difficulty listing the feelings, much easier to identify the needs. And it's a big choice that I have, but I went and got this book with the listing of needs and feelings to help myself out, this book from Marshall. And we only had two of us, and I got very much enthusiastic and with empathy for a lady making a decision about a job and a real opportunity, but it was an hour-away drive. And I got into the feeling and mentioning, if we really get our intentions strong, then the difficulties just are little things to handle, and we make it happen. And I was suggesting that. It sounded like the job opportunity was really a wonderful career, something she's wants to do, but it was an hour away. So that was our discernment opportunity. We spent more time on that, but I really feel enthused about the career opportunity that she has. Thank you for your great leadership on this discernment. I didn't even know what the word meant until recently.
Well, thank you for sharing what went on in your group and being part of this. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Oh, Margaret. And then I think after you will probably start winding down a little bit, depending on how long you share. Go ahead.
This didn't happen in the breakout, although the breakout was great, but this was something that happened to me just last week. Where I'm living in Canada, there's been an outbreak of COVID and people are dying, and the majority of them are unvaccinated. I am vaccinated, but I'm not negative about people who are unvaccinated. But my sister and her husband in Britain are unvaccinated, and I was feeling very upset when a friend of mine's sister passed away, who was unvaccinated, and it made me really think a lot about my sister. And there was some anxiety, fear, but there was also almost felt like anger that, she's not taking care of herself and she should, and all this. So there was all these mixed emotions. But when I did something similar to this exercise, looking at my feelings and needs and going deeper, I realized that under all of that was that I was so scared of losing her. So then when I came to a conversation with her, I just shared with her that I'm not trying to judge you, Bernadette. You have a right to do what you're choosing. I just want you to know how much I love you, and I'm just frightened that we may not see each other again. So it totally made a shift. Because I also thought about her feelings and needs, and I know she also needs safety. So we both are looking for the same thing, but we have different strategies to find the answer. So thank you.
Thank you. Sounds like you expressed your deep care for your sister, and that created that connection for both of you. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I think we might have time for one more person before we wind up for the day, or for the hour, I mean. One more short-ish kind of share. Anyone?
While we're waiting for someone,
Patricia.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah, I've been lurking in the background, and I want to tell you how much I enjoyed your session. And I especially appreciated that you took your own personal example around the support group. Then you walked yourself through the matrix. I think that's a really innovative idea. I've been working with the matrix for 10 years, and I've never done that in that specific way before. So I really took a lot away from, I'm going to steal that and using it for myself and teaching it to others. Very powerful. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, Jim. Wow, coming from the, I don't know. Anyway, somebody who knows a lot more than I do. That's
From
a
the
big compliment.
master.
Yeah, great compliment. Well, okay, so I just want to, I'm learning, I'm a candidate, and I would love if people could give me feedback on this. So I created a small little survey for myself on how I did, what could I have improved, what did I do well. If you feel led to, obviously this is not a requirement, if you feel led to giving me, there's 2 questions. What did you like? And what could I have done better? If you want to give me some feedback, I'd love it. So that's that. And then I will just, let's segue into the upcoming session with Lori Delaney, who is in the group now. She will be offering a session focusing on facilitating connection, if I have that right. Is that right, Lori? Yeah, okay, great. And Lori is awesome. I strongly suggest everyone stay on for the next training. For me right now, I feel really excited and I'm not nervous anymore. I feel fed by being connected to the group and just really grateful for the opportunity to, this gives me meaning in my life. I don't have a lot of other things going on. And so when I am able to contribute like this, it gives my life a lot of meaning. Okay. Okay, after after the event concludes later on today, everyone who's registered for the call will get access to all 28 sessions. If you arrived here without registering, no problem. Just follow this link that I'll put in right now. Oops, hang on. Okay, that link, follow that link and you'll have access. And if you have any feedback about today's event, I'm going to post another link that you can go to. I know there's a lot of links, but just go there and give feedback on the event in totality. And thank you so much for your continuing support. We're grateful to be in partnership with you. And at the top of the hour, the next presentation will begin. Thank you, everyone, so much.
Thank you, Patricia. And thank you all for attending. As you probably have heard, this is a fundraiser for CNBC. I'm a certified trainer with CNBC and been working with them for 20 years. And for me, it's still the best strategy for me is to stay involved with CNBC because it was the organization that Marshall started. And so I would love it if you would consider supporting CNBC either by direct donation link, which Catherine will put in hopefully in just a second, and by buying my book. I have a feeling that a lot of you already bought my book. And then so here comes the next request, buy another one. And then give it away to a friend, and then go ahead and buy another one and give it away to a family member, especially somebody that has different political views from you maybe, or some kind of a conflict. And then just buy one more and give it to somebody that you really think needs it, because you maybe have a little enemy image of them or something like that. And that way, and then ask everybody that you give a gift to buy 2 copies and give them away. And if everybody did that, before you know it, we'd sell 500,000 copies, and then do it one more time and we're up to 1 million. And so that would really be helpful for CNBC and helping them to keep themselves sustainable. So thank you so much, Patricia, for being here. Thank you, Catherine, for offering our tech support, being the behind the scenes wizard. We do a little shift now at the top of the hour. And I want to introduce you to Lori Delaney. Lori is a certification candidate working with me, and I'm just so happy to be able to